Make sure you guys smash that subscribe button if you guys are fans of the content being posted onto this channel to always be in the loop with more content similar to this, and be sure to hit the video up with a like if you're enjoying the content. And with that being said, let's begin. With Halloween Kills looming over the horizon, scheduled to be released on October 2020, many fans within the Halloween community are seemingly begging the question as to what is next for Michael Myers. What is the future of the character of Michael Myers following the events of Halloween 2018? And what exactly does Halloween Kills mean for the characters of Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace going into Halloween Ends? Now, I believe, in my personal opinion, that Michael Myers should end off Halloween Kills by definitely marking off a bunch of characters in the movie itself, and I think two of those characters that should end up dying in this film should in fact be Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace. Now, the reason why I say this is because how poetic would it be that nearly 40 years ago, Michael Myers went on a killing spree on the streets of Haddonfield, and to see Michael actually pursue Tommy, Lindsay, and Laurie back when they were younger, to have that all come full circle and have Michael Myers pick apart both of them, if not at least one of them, would be very poetic in the idea that even though Michael had not come across these individuals in such a long time, how much justice would it do Michael to finally get his hands on the kids that he was after nearly 40 years ago and completely off them off in the movie going into Halloween Ends, which assumingly is going to be the final chapter in the Halloween story involving Michael Myers. Now, we all know that in the original Halloween movie, Laurie was in fact babysitting Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace while Michael was out and about killing people outside of the streets of Haddonfield, but despite everything that's happened to Laurie by the end of the original movie, one could argue that one of Laurie's biggest achievements by the end of that movie was actually saving those kids and getting them away from Michael Myers. And with them now having survived to adulthood and actually being able to understand and being able to comprehend what happened back nearly 40 years ago, there would be an interesting dynamic to see what exactly would happen once Tommy and once Lindsay come across Michael nearly 40 years later, in seeing the fact that ever since those events, those children have not only been victims and survived Michael Myers, but now they're forced to confront him again. Now, dramatically, I do believe that by the end, it would be a very good marketing strategy in having Michael Myers actually be the Thanos of the story and snuff out Tommy and Lindsay by the end. Of course, one could make the argument about Laurie and Karen and Allison, two of which a lot of people do want to see either Karen or Laurie Strode also be off in Halloween Kills, which I do believe that Michael's body count also needs to increase by the end of Halloween Kills, given the status of Michael not only having to endure and survive so many of Laurie Strode, Karen, and Allison's attacks, but also seeing a more violent side to Michael than we've ever seen before. Not too violent like Rob Zombie's adaptation, but something more or less to where Michael is going about by strategically isolating his victims and then picking them apart one by one. And I do believe, to kick the movie off right, what better way to do so than to have Michael Myers either kill off Lindsay Wallace or Tommy Doyle from the beginning. And although some would argue in allowing these characters to actually marinate within the movie itself, in giving them time to develop and giving them time to actually shine through, I do believe that to establish the narrative that Michael is absolutely more dangerous than how he ever was before, and that nobody is safe, somebody needs to die in the beginning. And between the two, I would have to choose Lindsay Wallace, only because I can see somewhat of a showdown actually go down between Michael and Tommy, but in the end, I do believe that Michael, despite what happens in Halloween Kills, should have the upper hand against everybody, which includes Allison, Karen, the cops, Laurie, Tommy, Lindsay, everybody that Michael comes across in this upcoming movie needs to have a scenario to where Michael somehow overcomes everything and survives, and either that or have Michael overpower everyone despite their best efforts in having to put him down. Because when looking at this movie, this sets up the narrative that it almost feels like Marvel in a way, to where they're setting things up to happen chronologically with Halloween 2018 and now Halloween Kills. So Michael needs to stand out, just like how Thanos stood out in the Avengers as the biggest possible threat to everyone in this town, despite Michael even having to be hurt and injured. And what makes Halloween Kills such an interesting concept within the Halloween franchise is the fact that we know without a shadow of a doubt that there will be a sequel following that film, but it's really important to find out and to see for ourselves what happens in that movie, because to lay down the foundation of the final confrontation involving Michael, there needs to be some leverage that Michael has over our heroes in the idea that Michael Myers actually feels like an unstoppable force. And I feel like Halloween 2018 basically showed us a little example of how vulnerable Michael Myers can truly be, in the fact that Laurie outsmarted him, Karen outsmarted him, Allison outsmarted him. He was definitely outsmarted, and he was bested by them when you look at what they had over him in terms of weapons and the strategy used to actually pin him down within that house. They made a grave mistake by giving him somewhat of a loophole to slip out and actually survive. But let's face facts here, if it were not for Karen shooting upwards in the basement and creating those holes in the kitchen, then assumingly enough, Michael would have never have escaped, and that would have been the end of that one. Fun fact, Halloween 2018 actually had the original ending set up to where Michael Myers actually kills off Laurie Strode. So is this going to be the movie where we finally get to see Michael kill off Laurie Strode? I think so, because by the end of Halloween Kills, something's gotta give. Something big has to give to further take us into Halloween Ends, which of course can lead us into two different directions. Either direction one, our heroes kill Michael Myers for the first time, or direction B, we get to see how Michael actually wins by the end and drifts off into the darkness in being the boogeyman that people had originally feared from the beginning. Which, nevertheless, let's not forget what Jamie Lee Curtis had to say involving Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, as within a recent interview, Jamie went on to state, and I quote, "What I love that David and Danny and company did is that they connected the dots for 40 years, and now they're going back to really unpack the first movie, bringing back all of those characters whose lives were affected by what happened in 1978, and then the last movie is the sort of cultural phenomenon of violence. That's what the third movie ultimately is, a very powerful examination of violence. It comes at us from a slightly different way. You'll like it. If you believe in me at all, I promise you what David Gordon Green has come up with as a way to complete this trilogy is sensational, which could in fact imply several different things in the idea that the next movie, Halloween Kills, is simply going to dive into the psyche of what happened with Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace and how this affected Allison and Karen, and this is basically going to be somewhat of a psychological film in the idea that we get to see all of the past trauma from Halloween 1978 be explored, but this also kind of drives the narrative home that Halloween Ends could in fact be the most violent movie among the new trilogy, which I strongly disagree with, because I feel as if the quote middle chapter, the middle movie in this trilogy, needs to be the darkest. And the reason why I say this is because now, since Michael Myers was outsmarted, he was outmuscled in the fact that he was trapped in this house to burn down to the ground, Michael Myers now needs to go on an absolute rampage. In the fact that this gives our heroes a chance to come together in seeing all of the carnage that Michael had done, all of the people that Michael had killed, and now everyone basically is tired of his shit. They come together, they rally up, they do something to where they all try to take the boogeyman down once and for all. And the one driving factor that I've seen a lot of people not want to see in the upcoming movies is the fact that not everyone wants to see Michael's face be revealed. Not everyone wants to see Michael talk. Could in fact this be a high possible chance for us to see Michael's face? Absolutely. Could in fact one of these movies present the idea of Michael speaking? Absolutely. But as mysterious as Michael is, a lot of people prefer him that way in keeping the shape as a mystery rather than giving away some cookie cutter line or allowing us to see his face, given the fact that I do strongly believe that they should make Halloween Kills the darkest, and then with Halloween Ends, make that the Avengers Endgame of the new trilogy, and finally have everything come together and culminate with one massively violent fight. But in the end, I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below. To all the Halloween fans out there, I want to know, should Halloween Kills be the darkest movie? Should Halloween Ends be the darkest movie in the new trilogy? Do you guys believe that Michael should end up killing Tommy Doyle, Lindsay Wallace in the beginning, in the end? Should he kill them? Should he allow them to live somehow? Should they escape? I want to get your thoughts on the overall narrative and direction for Michael Myers. As again, thank you all so much for your time. Thank you all so much for watching. If of course you guys are new to this channel, then don't forget to go ahead and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to never miss a Halloween video. Again, I'm personally excited for this because we are all Halloween fans. A lot of people prefer Halloween 2, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, H2O, Resurrection. Some people prefer the Rob Zombie version. Some people love Halloween 2018. At the end of the day, we're all Halloween fans, and I think that what matters most is the fact that we all want to see a good Halloween movie, in this case a good trilogy. So is it possible? I have hope, and I absolutely believe that they're going to hit the nail on the head in delivering a great movie with Halloween Kills. But I want to get your stances and thoughts in the comments, guys. Thank you all so much for your time, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys. Peace.